Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are working with some Oncidium hybrids. This looks like to be a Culminaria wildcat or something similar. It was a rescue orchid and it never had a tag. So the only thing funny about this guy, and this is just some last minute bloom spikes. It's already bloomed twice this year and I'm yet to cut off the spikes, so we're going to do that today. The funny thing with this guy is the growth habit of it. It grows straight up and out of the pot. So it's going to be a tricky one to repot today, but we're going to repot this, trim off some dead spikes, and work on this orchid a little bit. So let's get started. First thing we want to do is sterilize some scissors off screen. Use some rubbing alcohol or something similar. I did that just before the video started. And we are going to cut off the old spikes here. Make sure you can see. I like to cut it just above the sheath. These ones are long due to be recut. There's one in the garbage right below me, so I'll just throw it in there. There's the other one. This thing is now like off lopsided as well. I don't know why. It wants to fall over. But there we go. So that maintenance is done. Normally, you don't need to repot them if you don't want to when they're in bloom, because it may shorten the life of the blooms, but you can if you want to. The other thing that's funny about this is the growth habit grows up. The roots it's aerial roots only, basically. So here's the media. And we want to get as much media out as we possibly can. It looks like I used a moss mix here. And I use a moss mix because I'm a really light waterer these days. So if you're heavy water, use some bark in there. If you're a light water, the moss will work nicely for you. You do risk a little bit of overwatering if you're using a heavy moss mix though. These roots look good. Now we'll always find some dead roots in the center because old pseudobulbs, they live for a while and then they die, right? And new roots come from the new pseudobulbs, so you're never going to have perfect roots in here, but try to have as good a roots as we can. Roots always head to the outside of the pot, except for the original roots that you put in the pot. So the original roots will be the oldest ones in the middle, and we're going to try to remove them. I'm seeing a little bit of dead roots from the middle of the pot. You can tell a dead root because A, it breaks apart very easily. It is a different color. It's brown and mushy, and sometimes, not in this case, it'll have like a string in the middle and you can like pull the outside off and you'll be left with just the core of the root. Now, the reason roots rot, other than the media goes, or other than old age, is the media goes sour. So that's why we want to repot these guys. And I am going to drop him in the sink there. I have this luxury. And we're going to give him a hose off together. Now, we can go on a gentle setting at first and see what we're working with. Okay, so that took a few minutes, but I carefully went through and washed out as much of the old media as I could, focusing on the core here, trying to get the core as clean as possible, because that's where the most sour media is, because of the old roots and stuff like that. And this thing should be ready to repot. So let's move you back away from the sink now. Okay, so after assessing this plant, we have a lot of really healthy roots still. Lots and lots. So that's good. It's nice and healthy. And we have active growing roots even though it's winter time, so that's nice too. What I decided while assessing that I don't think I'm going to get back in this little pot. So I'm going to upgrade the pot ever so slightly to just a square pot that's just a little bit bigger. I prefer to underpot. You'll find that, again, if you overpot something like this, it's going to stay wet for too long and you're going to risk rotting the roots. So I have seen some nice orchids go into big pots and then go into the trash a year later. So anyways, why don't we get started on this? Being I'm a light waterer, I'm using mainly a sphagnum moss mix. That's what it came out of. That's what's working well for me. If you're a heavy water or like to water more often, make sure you use a mix that has more orchid bark in there. Now, we want to try to, I've worked to the crown, and the crown is actually right here. It doesn't go up any further than that. There's some just stacked pseudobulbs in there, but I do want to get a little bit lower in the pot. So I am going to make sure the crown stays nice and wide. I don't want to put it in and then crown media around it, because all the roots are just going to go in like this and touch each other. And that's not our goal here. So I like to get some media around the roots so that they're coming out and coming out. And just like that. So I know where all the roots are now in this mound of media. I'm going to put a little bit in the bottom just for some cushion there. And then I am going to put this plant right in the pot. And I like doing it this way. I've never seen anybody else do it like this, but maybe they do. I like it because I know where all the roots are to start with. I know that I haven't smashed any roots or compressed any roots. I just know exactly where everything is. And it does take some, I don't know, trial and error maybe to do that. But once you figured it out, it's pretty easy to repot like that, whereas you put everything in at once. And there we go. And so with a push down like that, hopefully we'll be able to lift it up and it can support itself. It's in there tight enough that the pot can hang from it, but not loose enough that if you pull it up, you don't want the plant to fall right back out of the pot. So we'll give this a drink of water. This thing, the tag, I don't know where it went to, so I'm going to have to write a new tag and make sure I put today's date on it. And if you guys have any ideas what this guy is, it's definitely a climber, and it's definitely an intrageneric hybrid of some sort. But anyways, I'm going to date it for now. '19 for January 2019, and stick it in there. And that should be good in this pot for a couple years. Now we brought the bulbs right back down to where they were, as opposed to standing up and out of the pot. You know what? It could have gone a little bit deeper if this pot was another centimeter deeper or half an inch deeper. I wouldn't have complained, but it is what it is. And yeah, should be happy again. So I hope you like this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching.